That's right. It's that time again. My friend for Lotus Lachey. Lotus Lachey Ignite Coaching and Consulting. I've got a phenomenal guest tonight, Miss Elizabeth Hope Brown, the author with the mostest. And she is right here with your hostess. Come on in. Hey there, good to see you. I'm super duper happy to have my guest on the show tonight. You know, sometimes when life happens, you need someone to come along and say, hey, let's do it anyway. Let's keep it going. Let's get it going on. And so that's why I'm here right now to get it going on with my friend, the author, the lady that takes the time to give you the tea on how to help you be the best that you can be. And sometimes it starts with gaining your voice. Now, I know many people may not understand. Well, Lotus, what do you mean when you say gaining my voice? What is that all about? Well, let me ask you, how are you moving through life? Are you allowing people to talk down to you and make you think that you're non-deserving of all the wonderful things that God has placed on this earth, below and above you, for you to be the best that you can possibly be? Are you letting somebody else write on your canvas of life? And the question is, what stories lie within you? How do people really find their voice? I hear that question all the time. Well, tonight, I've got somebody with me tonight that's going to blow your socks off and your stockings too, ladies. And she's going to talk to you about what lies inside of you, how to gain your voice. And she's also going to tell you about her journey to being an author. So come on in. And like I always say, get a notepad and a pen, my friend. And if you don't have one pen that works, get another one that works. Okay? Because money makers are note takers. And you'll need to take some notes tonight as we come right back. So I'm going to give you a little music, a little soul in motion as we get ready to have my next guest come on. And this is a special shout out to my friend that always helps me win, Mr. Donald Kincaid. We'll be right back with my guest, Mrs. Elizabeth Hope Brown. Now go ahead, tell somebody, like, share, start a watch party, and go on and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
I've had some good days. I had some hills to climb. And I've had some weary days.
Special shout out to the remarkable Donald Kincaid.
When I look around and I think things go up, oh yeah, you know what I said? All of my good days. Y'all come and go with me. I'll win my bad days. And I won't complain. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's time to find your voice. What lies within you? Let's find your voice tonight with our guest, Elizabeth Brown. Don't complain, because she's here to help us out tonight. Thank you, Mr. Hey. Hi, how are you? Awesome.
I'm much better. I'm much better now. That introduction, and I won't complain. I mean, that I'm all the way, and we got to get through the show. You're trying to provoke something up in here.
Amen. again.
We had already prayed. Now you can take us into a whole nother worship element. Yes, ma'am. I'm very, very excited to be here. Thank you so kindly for that very inspirational introduction. You definitely inspired me, and I'm so glad that we are here. That in spite of the fact that in spite of, we are still here. So I thank you again for being a part of another day's journey today with me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So I'm super happy to have you on the show. You and I have been talking back and forth for quite a while. And for those of you that don't know, I used to live in Augusta, Georgia. So when Dr. Brooks connected us together, it was like nothing. And then a couple of weeks ago, you had Dr. Jackson on, which is a great friend of mine. And it's just amazing how great people kind of migrate around the same great people as we expand in our lives. So I'm super happy to have you here. So I know what you do. I know you're an author. I know you're phenomenal, but could you please tell us, Mrs. Elizabeth Hope Brown, tell us a little bit more about what you do and where you come from.
Where I come from, let's start here. So there's a little town called Homerville, Georgia, back down yonder, population about 2,500, Clinch County, represent Homerville. Yes. So I shout out to Homerville, Georgia is where I was born, but early age toddler. I moved to Sacramento, California, and by way of Sacramento, California, I've been in Augusta, Georgia for over 16 years now, and it's been a pleasure. The last 25 years, I've been very active. I'm a degreed social worker and working in public service work, currently a director at the Housing Authority, as well as a self-published author with a publishing company and Now My Work. So that's, and then I'm a mom. There's my wall of fame of my wonderful three kids. Yay! Shout out to the wall of fame. My So yeah, amongst other things, inspiring others. I start my inspiration at home. So I'm a very proud mom, and they've been very supportive of all of my endeavors. And I'm so glad to see it come to fruition with their support and with the experience that I've had in all those things.
Awesome. So, of course, you all know she's a mom. And for some of you all that's been stuck home with the kiddies for a while in this pandemic, not only is she a mom, but she also works with people in the healthcare industry. And she does phenomenal work down there in Augusta, Georgia. So if you're ever going through Augusta, Georgia, make sure you look Mrs. Elizabeth Hope Brown up and she'll help you out. So, Elizabeth, what made you decide to come to the show? Because I know that you're super busy. I'm super busy, but we just said, yeah, we about to do this. And you said, okay, yes, I'm coming to the show. Lotus, when you're having me, I'm coming.
Right. So Dr. Davis, I remember a long time ago, he said, if you want something done, ask somebody busy to do it. And as I told you earlier today, no matter what it is, I try to be a woman of my word. So I try to be very organized and keep things calendar and in sync. But no matter how busy we are, we prioritize what's most important to us. And I think that the power of networking and collaboration is so important. Yes. And getting that exposure, you were so kind and honored to accept an invitation to be on my show. So to be able to extend the invitation and share your platform, we better together. And the more that we support and undergird and encourage one another, I think the better that we'll all be. I tell people all the time, being a blessing to somebody else never takes a blessing away from me. So I'm glad you have this platform to share with us, and also glad I have one to share with you as well. So I am here to support you and show you my gratitude for your support towards me.
Thank you so much. And with her being a busy woman, I want to send a special shout out to her family. So shout out, fam. So make sure y'all go to this page. Go to this page because she is an author.
You made me cry.
As well. This is the fam. These are the people that love us and support us. So we cannot move throughout this world without giving our family and those that we love and those that love us a shout out, because they are super duper important. So having said that, Elizabeth, I want to give a shout out to some folks that's joining us. And folks, let us know where you're joining us from. We've got Angela from Washington, D.C., Harris from the Philippines, and we have Denise, that's my sister from another mother and father, all the way out in Chicago. So good to see you. And more folks are streaming in, but we wanted to take a pause for the cause and let you all know that we appreciate you. And if you haven't liked, shared, and started a watch party, like, share, and start a watch party, and go ahead and tell somebody that I've got the remarkable, amazing, creative, intelligent, well-spoken Mrs. Elizabeth Hope Brown on the show with me tonight. And we are talking about what, Elizabeth?
Finding our voice and walking in our purpose and the importance of it. So I'm really excited about expounding on me finding my voice and encouraging others to do just the same, and why it is so important for each of us to really walk in it and talk in it.
So I know a lot of us, when we first find our purpose, we start out doing something within our purpose.
Right.
So when we start doing something within our purpose, it leads us down a specific road. And oftentimes that road leads us to our real voice. So I want to talk to you about your books. What inspired you? What really inspired you to write books? Because, I mean, in Augusta, Georgia, it's not a whole lot to do. I lived there for 17 years. So what inspired you to write books?
Well, like I said, most of my childhood and my youth was not in Georgia. It was in Sacramento, California. Mm-hmm. And just as early as I was in elementary school, I've always been a writer. I've always been gifted with oral and written communication. Mm-hmm. And I remember specifically a project that I did in the 6th grade where we had to write a book and we had to do our own drawings. And I was a stick figure queen, but I was so proud of that bounded work. We had like a cardboard box and construction paper, and like we really made our books. And so after that, I always had this passion and dream of one day I'm going to write a book. Well, yes. Of course, like you said, it was a building process, because over the years that one day turned into years and life and college and husband and children and divorce. You know, I never wrote the book. And then 5 years ago, I went through a divorce, and I better understood why people compared death and divorce, because it really is a change of life as you know it. But one of the things I did in my own self-awareness and accountability was like, now that your lifestyle has changed, what are you going to do next? And one of the things was my bucket list back to when I was in high school, 16 years old, was I was going to do this, I was going to do that. And one of them was writing a book. And it was like, now's the time, you know, what are you putting off? You know, over the years, I had other genres. I was going to do a women's inspirational. I was going to do a children's book, whatever season of life that I was in, I was going to write a book, but it never came to fruition. But it wasn't time. So when I finally did it in 2016, all of those genres come into play. And I'm very proud to say that the first book was complete. And it is kind of inclusive of all those things with the 6 characters that were introduced in the first book.
So I think you know where I'm going to go with this next question.
Okay.
Because you had a very full life, and you still have a very full life.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you had time to write, but how did you start writing, really? Because with all the stuff that was going on, you made time to write. I know, and I love your transparency.
Yeah.
You said I had children, I was divorced. I mean, having the children alone, giving birth, Lord, I'm having this child that got a big old head, they need to come out. Lord, I'm going through a divorce. But when did you have time? How did you start it?
You know, same thing. Like I said, I've been writing all my life. I've been journaling all my life. I've been on platforms doing presentations on, you know, with my job and, you know, on college campuses and conferences and women's ministry. So I had always been drafting all along the way. So when I actually sat down and said, what genre are you going to do and how are you going to pull it together and creating the characters? At that point, it was like pulling all the chaos together and creating the work. And I can say with my children, I'm very blessed with gifted children at that time. By the time the divorce happened, they were pretty much in their own individual routines, and that they were pretty self-sufficient and they just needed my supervision. And so they actually became an assistance to me because they were book editing and letting me know what they thought along the way. So I always tell people parenting starts from the womb. It's not a 2-hour workshop. So when life transitions happened, they had already been, working in the ministry, working in the schools, and we were already in a set routine. So it was just a matter of prioritizing. Like I said, we prioritize what's important. And at that time, it was time for me to prioritize me and things and goals that I had in place. And then it was another thing where I now am a single parent with no support at that point.
Right.
And I needed to do what I needed to do to take care of my children. In addition to working and making ends meet, that was a whole income that was lost.
Right.
So I went into, in addition to my governmental work, I did entrepreneurial endeavors. And sometimes selling a book was gas money for the day. So I was dedicated to what I was doing.
So you made a decision.
Yes,
and not only did you make a decision, because God was giving you all the fruits.
Right.
All the while. And then you just said, you know what? No, I'm really going to sit down and I'm going to write my own book, because a lot of people, you can collab with them. You write things for companies and things like that for school. But when you write your own book, it makes a huge difference. But you got to make a decision. Right. And you made a decision. But not only did you make a decision, you went a step further because you took action.
Absolutely.
And that's an amazing thing, because a lot of us make a decision, but we never step into the action phase.
Right.
So once you recognize that you had a voice to write, or you really recognize that you had the voice to write, you made the decision to write, and you took action to write. Now, let me ask you this. It all sounds lovely. It all sounds lovely. But did you have any obstacles when you decided to take action? Because really, we talked about this earlier. You found your voice in writing. But sometimes when we decide to write or speak or whatever, we think, well, who's going to listen to me?
Right.
And we face some challenges. So what are the challenges?
Absolutely. So let me back up a little bit. So for me, I was very fortunate that in elementary school, middle school, people saw my gifts early. So I was really in situations and areas and platforms in school or in the church where as a little child, people would give me the long Easter speech, or I would get the big, the whole Psalms 100 that I still know to this day, because they knew I had the ability to remember it, to recite it properly. And I was going to do the work, to make sure whatever program or performance I was in. So at a young age, people recognized my written and oral gifts, and they allowed me to walk in it. Like you said, your gifts were built upon over time. When I was married to a pastor, a preacher. And so I was teaching and doing workshops. And so I've been given these platforms along the way to use my voice. But the transition 5 years ago was being an advocate now and giving a voice to those who hadn't been having a voice. I was working in psychiatry and behavior health, and I saw people struggling with church hurts and with mental health issues, that they had been in situations where they had been traumatized maybe at a younger age. They had been through situations like domestic violence or people being condescending when they were young, and they wanted to have a voice. So by the time I started writing, I have to say it was a building block, as you stated earlier. So I was being set up for a time such as this. And that's why people have to recognize their gifts early. And you have to be careful who you have your children around and who you have yourself around, because people can either encourage your gift and purpose, or they can be a dream thief and a gift stealer and discourage it. So let me not take all the credit or take away from God's glory of how this came about. It was a setup from the beginning. I just intentionally was walking in my purpose and being in situations. So when the shift hit, I was selfless during my divorce, and that, yes, it hurt. Yes, it was publicly humiliating. Yes, it was painful and it was difficult, but then I had to be still. And then I had to ask God, why am I going through this? So not only was I finding my voice, but my territory was being expanded. And not only was I giving a voice for myself, but I was giving a voice to the voiceless. So in the She Rich journey, I'm assuming you're going to talk about that a little later. The characters are now, you sustained and you remain faithful on that platform. Now I need you to help some other people. You can't be selfish in the journey. It was a selfless gesture in doing the book, and then creating characters who felt like at that time that whatever it was that they were going through, they didn't have a voice, because that's how I felt at the time. And so I credit too, I'm an avid reader growing up. So I would read stories and read books, and I wanted to be able to do the same thing for others as previous writers had done for me, that give me that hope and inspiration. You can go anywhere in the world, sitting on your couch, reading a book. You know, and so I experienced that growing up, reading romance novels, reading about different places in the world. So yes, it's not a lot to do here in Augusta, Georgia, but I'm well traveled. I've cruised, I've flown, I've driven. So I've been through 29 states and out the country 10 times. So I'm very exposed to diverse populations and environments as well to help with my creative writing.
So I know you love what she's saying. So if you love what she's saying, if you love it and you know it and you really want to show it, put a number 2 in the comment below. Right? So put a number 2 in the comment below if you love what she's saying, because tonight we're really talking about how people can gain their voice, because there are so many stories that lie inside of us. But if we're not given the opportunity to share it, then it may go unnoticed. But what I've heard you say, my dear, is that you had support, but you made a decision. You made a decision. Absolutely. You took action, you had support, and then you built on the gifts that you had. But another thing that I heard you say is that you shared opportunities. Right. Because when you made it to where you were trying to go, you reached back and helped other people who needed the opportunity to go where you are. So I love that. But listen,
and when you read the books, I'm sorry. When you read the books, that's what it is. These characters are realistic fiction and they're created characters, but it's very practical that these things can actually happen in people's lives. Because a lot of times we're not comfortable yet talking about our own self and our own situations. So as you read the characters, it plays as an icebreaker to help us start talking about what she did in the book, but eventually you're going to bring it home, because I tell everyone the 7th character is you. So the theme of the She West journey is the number 7. It's the number of completion. It's a number that once you get to that place, like you said, you get ready to say, okay, this is reflective. This is what happened. Now it's time to do the work. And so when let me go back to your question. I'm sorry. When I first started publishing, I had found online a publishing company. And I had gave them a donation and a deposit, and I was good to go, 12-month plan. And so I called 3 people. I sent a message to 3 people and I asked them about their process in writing a book. Of the 3 people, 1 person responded. And that 1 person, she does publishing. And I think that her initial thought was to recruit me into her publishing company. And I just say, like, the Lord touched the heart of Pharaoh. She said, Ms. Brown, this is what I learned. And this is how I published myself. And she told me that. And now it's not for everybody. Everybody's gifts are different. And then I went to the library and I told them my scenario. And just so happened, the person who was the regional director of the library was there in Augusta. And she told me about, she's a best-selling author. She has a pen name. I can't think of the pen name on her books. And I told her my scenario. She said, look what you need to do. Figure out everything you can do for yourself first. And then pay someone to do what you cannot do. And again, like I said, it's not for everybody, because it's a lot to do this. But the way I've been gifted and set up, and the way my children have been gifted and set up, we were able to do a lot of it before we paid someone. And there's like one thing that we do contract, because that's when you get to that point where I had to get help. So just like we're doing going live, I reached out to you. I reached out to another gentleman who does PR and marketing. But I always encourage people, maximize and find out what you can do first for yourself, and then be humble and reach out to other people for help when those barriers and those obstacles come, because your purpose don't change. What you've been called to do is going to be forevermore, or you're going to be so bogged down and mentally frustrated because you're not walking in your full destiny and purpose. So you're going to have to maximize on your talents, find out what your gifts are, be honest with yourself and your self-assessments, and how much your work ethic is going to be. No one can promote me better than me. Now, I may not have the time to promote me like I really want to, but whoever I paid to promote me, I'm going to be looking for that same, that same energy that I give to myself. So there was definitely barriers. I definitely had to humble myself and ask people, how did they do it? And I'm grateful that there were some that ignored me, but I didn't stop, because I knew what the goal was. So I went to others and I communicated with those that did share with me what they did. And then I figured out, okay, that's not something you're finna do, but you need to find somebody that can, which is back to your first question.
Yes.
Why am I on the show? The power of networking, the power of reaching out to persons. There's skills that Lotus have that I don't have. And I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay with saying, hey, Lotus, can you help me with this? And how much are you going to charge me? Because I believe in investing in myself. I don't have a problem with paying for great quality service that's going to help me be my greater self in person.
Yes. And you know what I like that you said, because this is really important. You have to be willing to circulate. Okay. Absolutely. And I'll put my own word in there, circulate money with people who's going to help you get to where you're going. Because a lot of people, Elizabeth, don't get to where they're going because they try to take the easy road out. And when they try to take the easy road out, they end up spending more money because the book isn't right. The merch isn't right. My merch look good though, because I paid, right? I love it. So even when I go on screens, you guys see all these things that's on here. Here, let me make sure you see all these things right here. My company produces this, right? So when I go in meetings and when I go on seminars and all this, people can see my phone number, my website is up here. Because a lot of times when you're in seminars, you don't have the time to really meet with somebody. Or if you're in a Zoom meeting, a lot of times the Zoom host will turn off the chat. So you can't even connect with someone that you need to connect with.
Absolutely.
So what we're saying is you've got to show up for yourself. You've got to invest in yourself, invest in your brand. There we go. Invest in your brand, because your brand is going to help you in the long run, but you got to promote yourself. You got to promote yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you don't have the funds, find ways to get the funds. And if you need to barter, be honest with the person that you're dealing with and ask them, can we barter? Because
people will work with you. If you honest with people and straight up, people will work with you. But you have to be very careful when they work with you. You do not forget. And you may not have to exchange it to them, but somebody else may need you, because there were some persons who helped me pro bono, didn't charge, but then there were other persons that I did have to pay. And so when I paid them, though, that got me even more motivated when it came time for book sales. Like, okay, Princess, my daughter and I are business partners. Whenever we went to an event, okay, we paid this much for a vendor fee, we're going to have to sell this many books so that we get this much money back in return. So keeping up with your budget and your bookkeeping and not mixing your personal money and your business money. It can be challenging. Because at first it was a lot of personal money, being put into it. And then sometimes now, like during the pandemic, when things slowed down, okay, now I'm reinvesting, but now I'm expanding virtually because I can get my money back.
So no commingling. Don't commingle if you can help it. Don't commingle. And if you do commingle, be honest with yourself and your tax preparer or whoever, and let them know, because the truth about this is we all have to get started at some point. And sometimes we make mistakes, but the only way to rise above them is to be honest with ourselves about the mistakes. Now, very quickly, I wanted to address something that you said. You talked about being a voice to the voiceless. Why? Because they haven't found their voice yet, because they don't know what's inside. But you talked about something else, and we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, I want to talk about the dream thief.
Oh, yeah, I threw that in there.
Right? The dream thief. I want you to come back and tell folks what a dream thief is. And if you want to know what a dream thief is, put a number 3 in the comment block below if you want to know what a dream thief is. And if you think you know what a dream thief is, go ahead and put it in the comment what you think a dream thief is, because there are a lot of dream thieves around. And I don't want to go too far. I'm going to leave it like that. There are a lot of dream thieves around. And when we come back, Elizabeth Hope Brown is going to get down with the get down and tell you about what a dream thief really is. We'll be right back. Hi, many people are looking for ways to enhance their business and expand their reach on social media. Well, if you're one of those people, look no further. Just join the StreamYard introduction on October 15th at 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, hosted by Miss Ignite and Take Flight herself, Lotus Richey, and the visibility strategist, Miss Patricia Rogers, along with Randy Ward and Regeline Sabbath, as they host the StreamYard introduction. Get in front of the people that you want to be seen by to turn your leads into conversions. See you there. Remember, October 15th, 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. EDD time. Get your tickets on Eventbrite now. All right, so we're going to get right back into this thing. And those of you that's just joining me, if you are just joining the broadcast, I got to tell you, I got a phenomenal young lady here with me tonight. And tonight we are talking about the stories that lie within ourselves and how to find our voice. And if anybody can tell you how to find your voice, she surely can. My amazing guest, Mrs. Elizabeth Holt Brown. So we talked earlier about dream thieves, but before we get to the dream thief, I asked you guys, how many of you wanted her to talk about dream thief and what a dream thief is? So Elizabeth, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look and see how many threes are in the comment block below. All right. Hey there, the money doctor, Dexter Sadler. He said, great topic and discussion, Lotus. Thank you so much. Sarah Beth from the Philippines, she's put a 3 in there, so they putting you in the hot seat, a 3. Tandra Price. Tandra, where you coming in from? Let us know. She put a 3 in there. And then Sarah said, exactly. Whoa, let me go up here. And then Charles Champ Walker, that's my guy. Hey, Charles, good to see you. And if you need apparel, Charles Champ Walker is your guy. So, Charles, put your information in. I've got to bring Charles to the show, and maybe we can do a little fashion show, and he can show some of his apparel. And Monica Austin, hey, Monica, it's good to see you. Happy to have you here. And, of course, so many people was putting their 2s in. And Mr. Donald Kincaid, hey there, good to see you. So happy to see you. Now, Mr. Donald Kincaid is a living blues legend. So happy to have you here. Mr. Saucony Prince, he is the king of next level leadership. So put your information down there. Woo, we got some heavy hitters with us tonight. So I guess we just need to get right into it, because they put their 3s in the box. And hey, Dexter Sadler came up with something, but we're not going to go to Dexter first. I'm coming to you, Dexter. We're going to go to you first, okay? And I want you to tell us what a dream thief or dream thieves are.
Dream thieves, in my interpretation and description, would be normally persons who are intimidated by your gifts. I have the experience of a lot of times persons that were intimidated by my gifts, that it wasn't my intentionality to be intimidating or offensive or in competition with them. So they tend to be persons that'll be around you. They'll criticize everything that you do, very condescending, and try to make you feel like you are less than great than the person that you believe that you are. Normally, they have their own insecurities and they covet your spot. They want to be in the position that you're in. And they may even have opportunities to give you a platform or opportunities, and they won't. They'll pick someone lesser qualified. It could be on the job, in the church, in the community. Definitely want to be you. They start doing things to yield your opportunity to be you, so that they can try to be you. But you can never covet or be or envy enough someone else to be who they are. But what you have to do as the individual person is you have to, first of all, spend time with yourself. You have to be still so that nobody can take away from you who you are, and guard your mind, because they will say things, they will do things, they will try to pull allies in from the outside to agree with them that you are less than who you are. Spend time with yourself. You have to know yourself, because when the enemy comes in and try to convince you that you're otherwise, if you're not persuaded of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing, you allow that thief to win, and they will take what they're coming from. Definitely have to know your value. You have to know your worth. You have to set standards and boundaries for people, and then stand on it. If you tell them this is my price, this is my requirement, this is my expectation, you can't yield or waver, because those dream thieves, they will come in and persuade you otherwise of what it is that you already know. You have to know that you know that you know who you are, what your purpose is, and what direction and your goals are in life.
And Elizabeth, I'm going to move back over because it's something else. One other thing that people should do, and I would like you to share it with them, and I'll put it up on the screen.
That too.
So
definitely need to get the books. The books are available. Yes, ma'am. Books are available online. Book 1 and On the Seventh Day She Rests. That book, I can put them in the
No, I got it. Yeah. I clicked on the wrong thing. See, that's what I get for always joking. I got it right here. Let me grab it.
Yeah, let's see. We got the first book.
It's already up here.
What too? Hey, I can rock that.
It's already up here. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm gonna come back on the screen. All right, I'm on the screen. So what I want you guys to do, go on over here to Amazon and grab her book. The paperback is only $10. Oh my gosh, only $10. And frequently bought together books are these right here, her other books. So you want to tell us a little bit about your other books that you have?
Okay, so this is book 1, and On the Seventh Day She Rests. This book is a compilation of all 6 characters. So it's the introduction of a 7-book series that we will complete. In this book, you meet the 6 characters. You learn about where they are in their lives. It's more reflective. I tell people a lot of times it's thin, but it's heavy, because the topics, like we discussed earlier, they are talking about issues with substance abuse, relationships, and they're trying to find their way. They're trying to figure out how they got to this place in life and what they are going to do next. So when the book ends, the last question in the book is, what is your story? Because it's reflective. So it engages the reader. It gets you to join and be a part of the She Rests journey with us. You're introduced to the characters, and now you're going to start with your self-reflection, your accountability, and you're going to grow and go through the process with the characters in book 1. So book 2 was the other book that you had up there.
Yes, and I'm going to put that book up here again. Mm-hmm. Hold on one second. Let me grab that.
No problem. Like I said, in that first book, we're given the validation of their thoughts, because a lot of times we've gone through things and we've never talked about it. And so when you start reading about the characters, when you hear that term, there's nothing new under the sun. Sometimes when you're going through things, you really think it's only you, that you're the first person to ever go through that. So I bring in my personal experience, my psychiatry and behavioral health experience, my public service work experience, and create characters that people from all walks of life can relate to. Because one thing about life is it is very non-discriminatory. It don't matter your financial background, your race, your gender. I've had men read these books and say, wow, it's amazing that men go through the same thing or be thinking the same things that women think.
Yes.
Second book, we do a 180. Like I said, I am a real creative writer. I wasn't just writing a story about my life. I'm writing a story about lives. And in this book, Theophilia, in the first book, she was the most cynical and she was the most upset with life. And so in the second book, we show a process of where she does a 180 and she shifts her perspectives and she starts doing the work to change the things that she's not happy about. The first book, sometimes you need to be still and get some physical rest. The second book, you have to learn in life, you have to lay some things to rest. You have to lay down past hurt, lay some people to rest, lay some situations to rest so that you can move forward with your life. And then the next sequels, that's what we're going to show. Book 3 is in the final drafting stage. We introduced Chopper. She was 14 in the first book, and in book 3, she's in college. And we're going to show that process of where she's saying, I put those things away as a child. Now I'm a young woman and I have to find myself, not the things that my parents passed down to me, but make my purpose be known. You know, is being finding the you in you is what book 3 is. But the book is about other characters, but it really makes you soul search about yourself as well.
Yes. And I really love that, because I looked at the beginning of the book and I like the way you share your story. Mm-hmm. You really do a deep dive with people, because this is a journey. Right. And you walk that journey, you bring them in, so that they're not just a stranger, but you bring them in like a family member, because you're very transparent in the book. and you really take them through the whole foibles of what you went through.
Right.
And I must say, pardon me, that the book in and of itself, if you get the book, I would ask her for a signed copy. But anyway, so get the book. You can go to Amazon. Now, the other book is $15, well worth it. I think there's a
it should be 10. Both of them should be 10. I updated both of them. And actually, the books are available on 80 different channels. Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, so they have accounts with those other book. And then they're on Kindle as well. So they have electronic copies as well. Mm-hmm. And you can inbox me. I know you said you showed my page of my beautiful children, but if you inbox my author, Elizabeth Hope Brown page, and you do want an autographed copy of the book, along with a bracelet, a She Rest Journey bracelet to remind you to get some rest, you can directly inbox me, but the shipping and handling will be different, and they will be $10 a piece, or you can bundle them for the $25.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, because they showed the 25, because I think the other book is like, you know, it's worth every dime. That's all I'm gonna tell you. So get Elizabeth's book. So we got a question.
If I may, I wanted to say, when you were saying about bringing the readers in, it is a journey. Yes. Originally, I was going to just do a thick Moby Dick, but I broke it up into 7 pieces so people can process it. Because in life, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And sometimes we look for quick, rich answers to problems that it took us a lifetime to get to this point. So we in this journey together for the long haul, because it's not going to be a one-time thing. So
and one thing doesn't fit all. And so remember this, when you read in the books, you may find yourself in there in certain characters.
Right.
So don't just read the first couple of pages and be like, well, that don't resonate with me. Go on.
Right.
Be like the older people do. And they say, I believe I'm going to run on and see what the end is going to be. So read the book.
And it's intentional that it's 6 different characters with 6 different stories. And like you said, I haven't had anyone really read it that haven't said they couldn't connect with at least one of the characters. Like you said, some people can relate to all 6, depending on the season that they're in their life. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. So listen, I definitely want to have your books for the book club that I'll be doing in the next month or so. I really want to have that for the book club. And when we start to read your book, I want to bring you back on the show so we can talk about the book. So folks, when I launch my book reading group, we're going to read 1 book a month. Okay. We're going to sit with it. We're going to love it. We're going to hold it. And then we're going to get us something to drink and take a sip on it.
Absolutely.
Right? Woo, we're going to take a sip on it. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. Pardon me. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about how people can find their voice through networking. Because you said this earlier, the power of networking is phenomenal. So how can people find their voice through networking? Because after all, sometimes people will say what you won't say. But before we do that, before we take a break, let us go here, because I'm a woman of my word. Mr. Dexter said, Mr. Dexter, the money doctor, he said, 4 dream thieves: your self-doubt, negative people who have no vision but will talk you out of yours.
That's right. That's why I said you got to know what you know, because they will try.
All right. And Miss Artist, it's good to see you. Happy to have you here. Let us know where you're coming in from, Miss Artist. Happy to have you here. So with that being said, we're going to take a pause for the cause, and I'm going to visit a wonderful young lady. She is the goddess of soul. And if you don't know her, now you will. We'll be right back. She is the remarkable goddess of soul herself, Miss Martha Hyde. Woo! right. That's the phenomenal Miss Martha High. It's always great to see her. And Latrella Denise, artist, and if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please correct me. She's coming in from Augusta, Georgia. I just love Augusta, Georgians. I can't wait till this pandemic is over so I can get back down there. Hey, and maybe, Elizabeth, when I come down, we can do a live roundtable broadcast. How about that?
That'd be great. I wanted to say to Monica Austin, she's in Sacramento, California. She didn't put it in there, but I know you gave her a shout out earlier. We're glad to have her and anybody else representing. We're very happy to have you here.
Yes. And for some folks, we can't see some of the
I know,
some of you in here, and I apologize that we can't, but we so appreciate you. And so don't hesitate, like, share, and start a watch party. Like, share, and start a watch party, and go ahead and run and tell somebody that I have the magnificent Mrs. Elizabeth Hope Brown. She's a speaker, she's an author, she's a contributor to life in such a way where she always help people to be their very best and never settle for anything less. So we're going to go right down to the question that we had before we took our break. So I gotta ask you this question, because a lot of people don't really understand that if they allow people to keep them out of a network, because of who they are, what they look like, or what have you, it can really stifle them. So let's get back to the power of networking. And sometimes we keep our own selves out of networking. So why is the power of networking so critical, as it helps us to gain our voice and really look inside to our own story?
Okay, I want to respond to that in two different capacities, one professional and one personal. So personally, when you said people will keep you out of a networking, so anyone who's ever been married and gone through the experience of divorce, in addition to it being traumatic, now you're talking about the networking part. So from family members to friends and people feeling like they had to take one side or the other, you may be in a situation where you may have to create your own networking from scratch, which is basically where I was with it. The people that I have been associated with initially, some of them veered toward being more inclined to support my ex-husband. Some of them, supported me, and some of them just went neutral and didn't support either one of us. So the power of networking is sometimes if people don't let you in their circles, you have to start getting yourself exposed and be open-minded to finding new circles of persons to network with that complement where you're going and what direction you're going in. As a social worker and a public service worker, the power of networking is for longevity and sustainability. I work in grant life, I work in the governmental sectors, and you cannot do it alone. Where your grant may be able to provide certain services and pay for certain things, you're going to have to reach out to other organizations that have other services that can fully support that person or client or patient or whatever capacity that you're working in order to fully reach the goal. So the power of networking, it really humbles us and keeps us to where we have to know what our strengths are, what our expertise is, what we have to offer. But if you want to fully service your readers, your support systems, your clients, or whatever capacity, you're going to have to be able to refer them out to other people that you can trust that's going to do what they say they were going to do, so that person will come back and continue to do business with you or continue to get services and support from you, because you want it to be relational. You want it to be continual. You want it to be, throughout life. You want to start, they say, from the cradle to the grave. You want those relationships to be continuous. And that goes with networking and referring and support persons. I don't network with people who are not residual or have something reciprocal in return.
Yep.
And I mean that in that there are some clients that I'm helping them and they may not ever be able to give something back to me, but the persons that I refer them to, if I'm never getting a referral back in return, then we're going to have to readdress that relationship.
Yep. And you and I talked about this before. I don't do business with people who don't do business with me. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because I had to graduate to that.
Right.
Because what happens is we spend so much of our energy, so much of our brain capacity, so much of our time helping people that won't even lift a finger to help us in our endeavors, in our business. But when they launched their business, we was running like nobody's business to help them build their business. And then when you start, or I start, or someone else starts their business, and we saying, hey, we need help, or hey, can I ask you a question? But they don't want to do business with you because you haven't come up yet, or they thinking, well, it may not be professional. Right. And just because a person is just starting out in business does not mean that they're not professional. Maybe they don't know certain things about the profession, although they're reading, they're trying to learn, they're trying to come up. And guess what? They're showing up, because the come up is in the show up.
And see, you don't know where they're going to go with it, because you don't want to deal with them when they're here, and then you want to reconnect when they're up here. You think they don't remember how you treated them when they were down here?
Exactly.
And people have to be very careful and very mindful of that. And like I said, there are some people that I do things for that I know they may never be in a situation to tangibly do something for me in return. But if they go back and tell somebody that I work with Elizabeth and she was a good person to work with, they're going to refer. And that word of mouth is very powerful. So
exactly.
Sometimes you just tell people, hey, I did something with Lotus and she was very helpful and supportive. A word can be just as supportive as $1. So, being able to really network in those kind of ways, it just all is beneficial, at the end of the day. But I do know a lot of takers, and I had to learn the hard way, because I'm a very natural giver and I don't do things for motive. So I had to sit back again and start taking notice of those kind of things. So I'm gonna start up at 100 with you. I would support you first. It don't take nothing from me, but now I'm gonna pay attention. So if I share something of yours on my page, but I never see something that I do on your, as much as I share, we don't have to stop that. Because I'm not going to keep on supporting and pushing for you, but you're not ever supporting and pushing for me. Okay, you're not a reader, fine. But I'm going to have merch coming out in 2021. You can wear a t-shirt, or have you tell somebody who do like to read about my book.
But look, takers. And Elizabeth, I'm going to tell you, I concur with you. If you don't start a watch party for me, but you want me to start a watch party for you, you a taker. Now, let me tell you this. This is what I realize. We can't all be in all places all the time, because a lot of times you're doing a broadcast, I'm doing a broadcast, my other friends doing a broadcast. We all doing them at the same time.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you this. I know a couple of people, and I'm going to call their name out. And I don't care if you don't like it. I'm putting you on blast. Wanda, the motivational queen, Hollis, Wanda D. Hollis. She could be on her broadcast. As soon as she get off her broadcast, she'll come to my broadcast. She'll chime in, and she'll start a watch party. I'm gonna call somebody else out. I'm calling you out, Janelle, the CEO of She Exists. Harris will jump off a show, run to my page, chime in, start a watch party, share it, and drop it in some groups.
And sometimes that's all it takes. It don't have to be all the time. It don't have to be every time.
Yes,
sometimes say hello, put your name in it, help the algorithms going, like or share. You can't catch it. It's things, like I said, it's things that you can do to show your support. It don't have to be always, but it can't just be never. I mean, like Trevor's on here now with me. Me and her have had an exclusive relationship back and forth for almost 20 years now. And she told me earlier, thank you about shit. She made some peach preserve, and it is the bomb. Check out Latrella Street. She all kind of stuff. That is my.
Can we get some preserves?
Yes, I made some. My daughter made some homemade biscuits, and we put the preserves in there. But the case in point is, it don't have to be all the time, but it can be sometimes. You cannot tell that you never see anything that I post. You can never tell anybody about what I'm doing, and then you sit there and post things about how people don't support you.
Yes. So let's do this real quick. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back. Now, we talked about the takers, and I talked about two givers, right? So givers, Wanda D. Hollis, the motivational queen, Janelle Harris, CEO of She Exists. We're going to come back, and I hope y'all note takers are money makers, right? I hope y'all got your notepad, and hold on. I'm gonna get a head start and turn the page. Because I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna do it, and Elizabeth's gonna do it. Write down 3 other givers that you know. And when we come back, I'm going to say, give us the givers. Give us the givers. And I want you to put 3 givers in the comment block below. And if you're a giver, put yourself in the comment block below. So until we come back, you got some time to write. Okay. You can put your comment in the comment. Oh, and don't put your comment in early. Wait until we come back and put your comment in the comment block below. Okay, we agree to that? We agree? All right, we agree. All right, so we'll be right back. Hi, many people are looking for ways to enhance their business and expand their reach on social media. Well, if you're one of those people, look no further. Just join the StreamYard introduction on October 15th at 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, hosted by Miss Ignite and Take Flight herself, Lotus Richey, and the visibility strategist, Miss Patricia Rogers, along with Randy Ward and Regeline Sabbath, as they host the StreamYard introduction. Get in front of the people that you want to be seen by to turn your leads into conversions. See you there. Remember, October 15th, 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. EDD time. Get your tickets on Eventbrite now. All right, so we back. Those of you that are just joining the show, thank you for joining the show. Please make sure you like, share, start a watch party. Like, share, start a watch party, and go tell somebody that it's time to ignite and take flight in every area of their life. I got the phenomenal author with me, Mrs. Elizabeth Hope Brown, and we've been getting down on this topic of what's inside of you and how to gain your voice. So before we took a quick break, we talked about givers. We talked about the takers first. Oh, and this is something you said before we went off the show for a quick minute. You talked about this. You said, now some people may not read. You might not read my book, but you could buy a t-shirt. But guess what? Reading is fun to mental. So if you're not a reader,
right,
reading is fun to mental. So right. I challenge you to have some fun to your mental and get her book. Get her book.
Fun reads, yeah. They're fun reads. They're intimate reads. I'll say it like that. They're emotional reads. Yes. So your emotional energy is going to shift in the first book and the second book. I'll leave it like that. I'm a very affectionate person as well, so I'm going to just say it like that.
All right. So now I just gave y'all something. Reading is fun to mental. So go ahead and get her book and have some fun while you're enhancing your mental. So we're going to talk about givers. Now, really quickly, give me the givers. Give me the givers. Go ahead and put 3 givers in the comment block below that you know of. And guess what? I took a little peek and some of y'all put in some givers right away. And you know what that tells me, Elizabeth? That they surround themselves with positive people.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna go and get someone that's a giver, and then you'll give a giver and I'll give a giver, and then we'll go back. Okay. So let's go ahead.
I'm ready.
All right. Miss Artist, she said Eutralia is a giver.
She's a giver. Yeah.
All right. And see, I did say put herself. And the reason why is because a lot of times we are givers, but nobody's patting us on the back. So I double dog dare you, take your right hand and shake it all about, right? Take your right hand and go to your left shoulder and pat yourself on the back. Thank you for saying that, Miss Artist. I appreciate it. Angela Elton said, Lotus Richey, Lynn Hair Divergence, Harris Tay, and guess who else? Angela Elton. We're all givers.
Yeah.
Givers. Okay, givers. So it's on you, Elizabeth.
Oh, it's on me? Okay. Yeah. So the first 2 persons I'll mention is Monica Alston. She has MSW. She has worked in Child Protective Service for many, many years. She's in Sacramento, California, and she is an ultimate godmother to my daughter. She is definitely a giver. Latrella Artist, as I mentioned, I concur. She is correct in that she truly is a giver. And then the person that I get it from the most is my mom. She is a giver to a fault. She's a registered nurse for over 45 years, recently retired, and truly has a spirit to help others and to serve. And even as she is retired, it's nothing for people in the community or in the church to call her to ask about understanding medical procedures or insurance or discharge planning. So I always say that I had to catch myself. I'd be like, I get it from Christine, my mom, she is such a giver. But then on my daddy's side, he believed in God bless the child that got his own. So I get that balance. Not giving too much. And I'm glad I have a heart to give. I had to kick in on my daddy's side to be like, hold the line, because people going to take advantage of you, if you keep on thinking with your heart and not your mind. So definitely my mom, Monica, and Latrella, and myself, because I definitely am a giver. But
all right. Look, you can tell she a giver, because I said we was gonna go here, and here. So she gave, y'all. She gave. So she gave. So I love it. So I wanted to say, right? I wanted to say hi to your mom. Okay. Oh. Hi, Elizabeth's mom. Elizabeth's mother is a giver. Monica is a giver. And Latrella, she's a giver. So thank you so much. And we know that Elizabeth Hope Brown is a giver. So I really appreciate that. So hi, Mom. I was trying to get it in there. No, but that's good because that lets people know that you are a giver, and that's great. And somebody trying to give me something. Okay. Hey, love. Hey, right back at you. So look, we got a few folks here. We want to know who your givers are. Elizabeth Brown. That's what I'm talking about. Get down. Okay, so Angela said, my parent, your parent, and everyone's parent, guardian, siblings, you know who you are. They're givers. And then Latrella said, my mother, Marilyn Dent. Hello, Miss Dent.
Yes.
We appreciate you. You are a giver.
Yes, she is. And she hosted a book reading before the pandemic with her family and friends. So thank you, Miss Marilyn. We thank you for your support.
Awesome. Fantastic. And then who we got, Elizabeth? The money doctor. What the money doctor say?
With the X factor. Lotus Richey is a giver with an X factor! Exclamation.
Yes.
All that emotion.
And you know what? I'm gonna share this with you. You said when we talked about groups to become a part of, we talked about finding our voice and giving back and being around givers and not takers. Latrella said something that I was thinking in my mind, but didn't have the opportunity to say. Sometimes you may not be able to get in some of the groups that you want to get into because, especially online, some of them are exploded or what have you, and you may not be able to get in right then. Or sometimes the group really doesn't resonate with you on an energetic level.
Right.
And so you might not want to get in with that group. So you know what you should do? Start your own organically.
Exactly.
You can start your own. You don't have to wait for somebody to validate you.
Exactly.
You don't have to wait for somebody to give you permission to have your voice.
Hence the
you don't have to wait for that.
That's when you said that earlier about people being put out of networking groups or trying to get into networking groups. So while you're on the waiting list, hence the start of the She Rush journey. So I no longer fit in where I was. I didn't know where I was going. And then that's when I was just still for a minute, didn't take any engagements to do any speaking anywhere. And then I started from there. What is your vision? What is your goal? Now recruit and network people and make yourself available, and people will come. you will draw people with your energy. When you walk into the room, it's going to be something about you that people want to be a part of what you are doing, and they will connect. God will make a way that we will connect, just like you and I, Lotus, by way of somebody else, just like Latrella and I, you will connect if it's meant to be. So I don't sit there waiting around for outside persons to bring me in and say, I have met their standard. I now know my standard. I know my voice. I utilize it for good and not evil, and good things come to me and those that are supposed to be drawn to me. So
say it like you know it. Say it like you know it. Because after all, what story lies in you? That's what this is really about. And how do people find their voice? Right here.
Right.
You find your voice by connecting with the right people in the right time, in the right space, and in the right place. Because when you're in the right place in your life will show up for you.
Right.
And if nothing else around you is showing up in the positive light that you're supposed to be in, then create your own organically. Go out and meet new people.
It will happen naturally. My mom bought me this thing and it's on my dresser. And on one side it says be bold. On the other side it says be you. You be you. You be bold. Those other things will just start connecting. And it will. I do things now and I step out on faith, even like going virtual and stuff. And I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And then I just started connecting. You know, people start coming. I started getting inboxes. I have a friend I call and I was like, I just went live and now people are coming to me. Like, this is not what I was anticipating. But it's possible.
Yep. And you know, we got the lymphologist. She's amazing. She's been teaching us about the lymphatic system. Miss Hillary Gooden. Good to see you all the way from Chi-Town. And I love this comment that Latrella put there. Start with what you have. Start with what you have. And then she went a step further and said, we are our brand and people will come because it's you. And you know, Elizabeth, I think we shared this before. When I first started doing this as vigorously as I'm doing it, I didn't want to do it because of where I had worked. I was very private. I was raised to be private, and I didn't like people in my business. So I said, you know what? I have to move in the direction that God is calling me into moving, because what if I did not have this platform? I have about 5 different platforms and we talk about different things, but all of the things lead to one thing. It leads to the higher power. It leads to being connected with oneself so that you can do what I always say, ignite and take flight in every area of your life. And my platforms have allowed me to say, come on in and get in where you fit in, because I always got room around my table for you. And so if I didn't step out on faith and do what I needed to do, I would not be talking to all of you. So if you appreciate what I do, put a number 7 in the comment below. If you appreciate the show that has embraced you tonight and you've embraced us, put a number 7 again. And if you want Elizabeth Hope Brown to come back on the show, put a number 7 again. Okay. And if really, I gotta say this. If you really believe that reading is fundamental, put a number 7 and the 8 in the block and get this book. Get her book. Go on Amazon. It's very cost effective. Yeah, get the other book too. I'm gonna try to go. Oh, that's giving them a preview of the book. Look, I love y'all, but get the book. That's all I'm gonna say. Get the book. Hold on. Get both of the books. Very affordable. I'm going back to the page because I'm gonna share it with you just in case some of you just came on and you just chiming in. I want you to see both of these books by the remarkable Miss Elizabeth Hope Brown. She rests. Get the book. This is the second one, and this is the first one. I'm gonna share it with you. Okay, get the book. And I'm gonna make this big on the screen for some of us that don't have our glasses on tonight. I'm gonna try to make it big on. I mean, I just keep it real. It is what it is. I want to make sure I accommodate you so you can see it. So you can't say, "Oh, Lotus, I couldn't see the book, so I couldn't get the book." No, here the book is. Make sure you get the book because reading is fundamental. So have a little fun in your life. And when I start my book reading each month, you'll be on board with some sensational writers who are really, really givers. They're givers, and they're here to help you and help you ignite and take flight in every area of your life. So go ahead and get the book. You can go right there to Amazon and get her book. Okay. Right. So Elizabeth, man, I didn't know you was gonna come and bring the fire to the show.
I was looking at the questions like, did we hit them all? I'm sorry.
I know, right?
When you asked one of the questions, I don't know if we hit. You asked.
Tell us about your platform. You told us a bit about your platform. What do you have coming up next? Is what we really want to know. And
you mentioned that about book 3 and 4 coming out by December, and in 2021 launching the website. Asking persons, please like my author Elizabeth Hope Brown. Yes, she does have them both already. Thank you so much. Very faithful. Appreciate your support. But the two things that I did want to mention on the question that you asked was why is it important for people to find their voice? And that's it. I think I alluded to earlier was for mental health. We can't keep suffering in silence. We keep things in. We're sleeping on our gifts. We're not walking in our purpose. And we see people having meltdowns, suicide ideation, substance abuse, domestic issues in the home because we don't know our purpose and we haven't found our purpose and we're not walking in it. The second thing I want to say is because I don't believe that the things that we go through in life is for no reason. And I think that I'm inspired to write in a selfless way so that I can help others and encourage others to be the same way. Don't be selfish in your journey. When you're going through something, whether it was a financial crisis or a relationship issue, you don't have to give. It's a way you cannot give details and still share, and people will touch and feel your energy and know that what you're saying is valid. What you are saying, they can trust because you're sincere in your endeavors to try to help them. But I didn't want to run over that one about what inspired me to write and why it's important for us to find our purpose, because without our purpose, it's like being the living dead. You're not alive if you're not living and walking in your purpose and you don't have your voice. And I know there was a time when women and children weren't given platforms and safe zones to actually utilize their voices and advocate for the things that they believe in. Well, times are changing, and it's changing with us being bold and being you. Find your voice, share it so that you can edify not only others, but you're going to feel so much better about yourself. When you walk in your purpose, you feel so much better about you. So I just really wanted us to, you wake up smiling, you go to bed smiling. When you know you have found your voice and you're doing sincerely what you believe you're supposed to be doing, you have a whole new attitude.
Yes.
That's
true. That's true. And let me tell you one other thing too. And in regard to finding your voice with the collaboration thing, with the networking thing, it's not always easy. Sometimes you're going to have hard days, and we're not saying that you're not going to have hard days. But when the hard days come, you got to make a decision to take action on whatever the crisis is in your life. And you need to go ahead and talk to somebody.
Right.
No matter what it is, no matter how bad it is, talk to somebody. And like Elizabeth, myself, a lot of you that are coaches out there or trainers and ministers and priests and preachers, however you identify yourself, but people come to you. You are the front line. You are one of the givers. You're giving all your energy to help people, but you need someone that you can talk to, that you can reach out to. And I'm telling you, if you need someone to talk to, if you need someone to reach out to, don't hesitate. Reach out to Elizabeth Hope Brown. Reach out to me. You can hit me up on my website at www.lotusrasheignites.com and go ahead and schedule a one-on-one training and coaching session with me. Go ahead and
go to the website. I love it. It starts off inspirational.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go there right now for those of you that's never
the website is very common. It starts off like you're in a peaceful zone. She provides a safe zone. Welcome to my website. I am Lotus Riche and I love it. Please go to it.
Okay, now, and it's probably gonna show you. I have this is the funny thing too, Elizabeth, because when people go to my website, if you don't want to go through everything in my website and you just want to go to my wellness part, you could just go to my wellness part. And here, I'll share my wellness part with you. Just go to my wellness part. I mean, I went to go to it, and my wellness section came up. So go to
my. You drinking your water earlier.
yeah. I you know, because we're always on the go, and you have to stay healthy. I drink hydrogenized water, right? Hydrogenized water. If you want some, just get at me, no problem. Because I have to stay healthy. You have to stay healthy. You know, so if you want to go right to my my wellness, go right to Lotus Riche Ignites Wellness or Health for you, and you can go there. And I'm gonna take you to my main page, and we'll be good to go. And I'll show you that for some of you that haven't seen my web page. You can go here, you can kind of relax and chill out. It's something for everybody. And also you can go ahead. It's bringing up wellness again. I don't know why. Somebody needs some wellness. Somebody needs some wellness out there. You can go to my page, right? But I'm going to go ahead and put my website up here for you so that you can have it, and that way you'll know where to go if you want to reach out to me. Give me 1 second. You.com. Okay, so you go right here to my website and just do what you do. Just relax and make sure you read. Make sure you read. Make sure you read what I got going on, because reading is fundamental. Okay. And just you know, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that might need it. You know, share it with somebody that may need to come in and hear some soft music, you know, at my website. You know, share it with somebody that might want to buy some merch.
Absolutely.
On my website, you know, because you never know what a person needs until you share with them. And this is my website. You can go to my website, and it can ignite and take flight. You can kind of figure out a little bit more of who I am and how I help to transform lives. You can check out some of my inspirational videos, some of my podcasts, and things of that nature. And yes, by the way, I do have, pardon me, a new podcast that you need to check out. So with that being said, I'm going to play this for you because we're at the top of the hour and it's almost time. But I'm going to play this for you for all of you out there that need a moment to just know beyond doubt that you are important and about success. So here, let me get this playing for you right quick. And then we're going to come back and have some closing remarks. Oh, okay. So I didn't share So I took it down because I didn't share the sound with you guys. I wasn't being selfish. I wasn't being selfish. So I'm going to play it for you again. So just bear with me. And don't forget, come to the training tomorrow because I got to tell y'all about this part. So when you go over here, I can tell y'all how to do this joker. Okay, so here, I'll play this for you again. Here we go. I just wanted to come to you briefly today because I've got so many folks asking me, Lotus, how are you so successful? Success is relevant to whatever you think success is. To some people, success may be having a big house, fine cars, or just having a great job. Some people, in their mind, success is just having a great family and friends. For me, success is being able to make a difference, not only in my life, but in the lives of the people that I come across. I help do this is I encourage people not to make excuses for not being successful. Don't let fear, complacency, procrastination, someone telling you that you can't do it. And the most important thing, number 5, you telling yourself that you can't do it. See, you got to rise above giving yourself excuses. You've got to give yourself every reason to win. After all, you are a winner. So today I share with you, don't make excuses. Make moves. See you. All right. So that's my words of wisdom. Don't make excuses. Make moves. Elizabeth?
For again having me and allowing me to be a part of igniting and taking flight. This has definitely been an exciting show, a confirmational show to remind me to keep on igniting and soaring into the things that we're doing, and just also encouraging others to find that story that lies within them and a platform to share it on, as you have given me on today.
Yes, thank you so much. And I look forward to having you back on the show real soon. And don't forget, folks, if you haven't gotten your StreamYard ticket, and this is what I want to say to you, for all of you creators out there, all of you coaches, all of you entrepreneurs, when you do something, if you make a mistake, it's okay. Don't stand on the sideline of your life. Don't do it. Don't stand around kicking yourself. Instead, ignite and take flight and invest in yourself. Why? Because you're worth it. I'll see you next time on the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. Thank you so much. Don't forget, get your ticket for the StreamYard Mastermind. We'd love to have you there. Good night. Hi, many people are looking for ways to enhance their business and expand their reach on social media. Well, if you're one of those people, look no further. Just join the StreamYard introduction on October 15th at 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, hosted by Miss Ignite and Take Flight herself, Lotus Richey, and the visibility strategist, Miss Patricia Rogers, along with Randy Ward and Regeline Sabbath, as they host the StreamYard introduction. Get in front of the people that you want to be seen by to turn your leads into conversions. See you there. Remember, October 15th, 3 p.m. to